Yes.
Okay. So in the previous class today, we had seen that Aurangzeb's rule was divided into two categories. First category, we saw that he had focused on the Persian, the Turks, and in the second category, we saw he focused in the Deccan and the southern India. And we also saw that in the second phase, he had imposed a tax which was called as jizya. Jizya was a tax which was imposed on Hindus by Aurangzeb once again. This was the tax which was removed by Akbar, but Aurangzeb reimposed the tax again on the non-Muslims. This is the tax which the non-Muslims had to pay if they wanted to go for a Tirath Yatra, okay, for the religious pilgrimage. And because of that, and he's also started treating the non-Muslims unequally. So therefore, most of the non-Muslims had developed this hatred against Aurangzeb, and especially the three groups emerged as his enemies. Number one were the Sikhs, number two the Rajputs, and number three the Marathas. So now in today's class, we will see how the Sikhs retaliated, or how the Sikhs reacted to this, and how did Aurangzeb respond to them. Okay, so now the Sikhs. In 1675, Aurangzeb arrested and executed the ninth Sikh Guru, that is Guru Tegh Bahadur. Please underline, Aurangzeb executed and arrested the ninth Sikh Guru, that is Guru Tegh Bahadur. So if Aurangzeb is executing, if Aurangzeb is arresting the ninth Sikh Guru, what do you think? Will the Sikh community be quiet?
No,
No,
ma'am, they
the
shall
leader is
revolt.
still going
Ma'am, they shall
to
They
be
will
revolt.
definitely
executed.
react to it. So yeah, so definitely we'll see in the next paragraph that how did they react to it. But what was his reason? Why did he execute and why did he arrested him? It was just because he was not embracing Islam. Just because he was not accepting Islam, he executed the Guru. So this was quite unjust, isn't it? Now the succeeding gurus, okay, also revolted against Aurangzeb for this particular act of him, right? And basically, following the death of Guru Tegh Bahadur, his son, that is Guru Govind Singh, please underline, after the death of, since he executed Guru Tegh Bahadur, now next successor would be his son. So who was his son? Guru Govind Singh.
Guru Gobind
Okay.
Singh.
Yes.
Yes, Guru Gobind Singh was his son. So after him, it was Guru Gobind Singh who took up the charge, because Aurangzeb had killed him, right?
Executed
His
his
father.
father.
Yes. No. Now, what did Guru Gobind Singh do? He formed a community of Sikh, of the people of Sikh, by gathering the members of Sikh, the body of Sikhs. Okay, he formed a community and he named that community as Khalsa. Okay, so please remember this. Khalsa, the body of Sikhs, okay, was made by Guru Gobind Singh. Okay, Khalsa, the body of Sikhs, was made by Guru Gobind Singh. Now, there were some criterias. If a person wanted to become the member of this particular group, that is the Khalsa group, they had certain eligibility criteria. They had certain rules which they need to follow so that they stand out. So let's see what were the qualities, or what was the eligibility criteria to become the member of a Khalsa group. First of all, the member of the Khalsa were initiated through a baptism rite of water stirred with a dragon. Okay, so we have this ritual of baptism, right? So similarly over here, if you wanted to become a member of Khalsa group, the members had to baptize themselves. That is a water ritual with along with the dragon. This was the first condition. Second condition was they were supposed to have the surname as Singh. Singh means lion. Okay, please underline. The second criteria was they had to have a surname of as Singh. Singh means lion. Third criteria was that the members had needed to have 5 sacred symbols. Okay, these members should had 5 sacred symbols. And what was the symbol? Number one was kesh, that is they need to have long hair. Number one, kara, that is a steel bracelet which they wear in their hands. The next is kanga, that is the comb. Kacha, that is inner way, and kirpan, that is dragger. Fine. So these were the 5 symbols which each member of the Khalsa group had to have with them. All right. Next criteria was that they, whenever they used to meet each other or whenever they used to call each other, they need to have greet each other with this by saying that Jai Bolo So Nihal Sat Sri Akal. What does it mean? It means that the immortal God is true will be blessed. Underline, the immortal God is true will be best. Okay, so whenever they meet each other, they had to greet themselves by saying this. So these were all the criteria which the members of the Khalsa group had to follow. Now, all these rites and symbols gave the members of the Khalsa group a sense of consciousness, a sense of unity, and a sense of brotherhood. All right, so that's how they stood out of this. Right? Please underline this. Why? That's the reason they had brought, all these different things, criterias to become the member of the Khalsa group. All right. The bitter rivalry between Mughals and the Sikhs continued even after Aurangzeb's death and was carried out by Guru Gobind Singh's successor, Banda Bahadur. Please underline. Who was the successor of Guru Gobind Singh? Banda Bahadur. Yes. So you need to remember that this particular things, the hatred, the hatred towards Aurangzeb by the Sikh community continued even after the death of Aurangzeb. And who was the person who continued after Guru Gobind Singh? It was his successor. What was the name? Very good. Successor Banda Bahadur. Understood how the Sikh community defended or agitated with Aurangzeb?
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone understood? Okay. Next is the Rajputs. Now we'll see, since we also know that the Rajput did not like this fact of Aurangzeb imposing taxes and treating them with inequality. Let's see what the Rajputs did. Now over here, please understand this, that Aurangzeb had to deal with 3 important Rajput rulers. Okay. One was of Marwar, other was of Mewar, and the third one was of Jaipur. Just underline Marwar, Mewar, and Jaipur. Okay, so remember that these were the Rajput rulers who had given tough time to Aurangzeb. Now let's see what did he do over here. Raja Jai Singh of Jaipur was sent to Deccan where he died in 1666. Next, this is very important. Raja Jaswant Singh was, just underline Raja Jaswant Singh, was deputed to the north frontier where he and his son died. Okay. So Raja Jaswant Singh, and underline, he and his sons died fighting with the Afghan. Okay. So now we know that Raja Jaswant Singh had died while fighting. He died along, and his sons also died when they were fighting with the Afghan rulers. Now, if you remember, the monarchy system was such that if the father dies, the throne would be taken by the son. Now, if you will see over here, Raja Jaswant Singh also died, and all his sons also died. So now how is the throne going to shift? Like, who's going to take up the throne now? So over here, Aurangzeb saw this opportunity, that okay, now there's no one who could take over the throne. So what did he do? Since there were no successor to the throne of the Marwar, Aurangzeb occupied Marwar. Underline this. With no successor to the throne of Marwar, Aurangzeb occupied Marwar. Okay? Now, however, a posthumous son of Rana Jaswant Singh was born and appeared to claim the throne. Underline this, okay? Prince Ajit, underline this. Prince Ajit Singh, don't underline that. Underline this. Prince Ajit Singh appeared before Aurangzeb asking him to hand over Marwar. Underline everything till Marwar. Yes. Okay. So now what happened? See, he saw that he took this as an opportunity, and he took over the throne of Marwar, who Aurangzeb. Now there was this another son of Raja Jaswant Singh, whose name was Prince Ajit Singh, right? So when he saw that Aurangzeb took over the throne, which actually belonged to the Rajputs, so he went and he requested Aurangzeb to hand over the throne of Marwar to him, because he will be the son. All right, he is the son, and he is going to take over. Now let's see how Aurangzeb responds to this. Okay, what do you think? 1 minute before we turn the page, what do you think? Would Aurangzeb give
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
According to what I have heard, what he has done with his father and brother, I don't think he will
Give the
give the throne.
Marwar to Ajit Singh? Hmm. Okay, right, by going and requesting him to give Marwar. What do you think? What
no,
was it?
ma'am.
Was he?
Aurangzeb
No,
won't
ma'am.
give.
Ma'am, I think what he
He
did is
would
right.
revolt and fight, but not give Marwar.
Ma'am, I think what
Yes.
he did is
Ma'am, never.
Okay, let's see. Let's see if your guessing work is right or not. Let's go on to the next page and check whether you all have guessed it correctly or not. So, good news. Aurangzeb refused to. You all are correct. Aurangzeb refused to accept and acknowledge him as the successor.
Ma'am, no one will give the throne back. He or
It's so easily,
Yeah,
right? If
it's
somebody's
so
coming and
easy.
requesting, please give me the throne. What do you think? The ruler will give? No, that's not. That's
No,
not
ma'am.
possible. So, please
Ma'am,
underline
he-
this.
Fight back.
ma'am, if he can kill his own brother, then why will he give the throne, ma'am? For
True,
life, he
for
can
the
kill
throne,
his
he killed his own brother. For
own
the
brother.
throne,
So,
he imprisoned his own father until his death. So how do you expect him to give the throne so easily, right? Now, so definitely it was but obvious that he's not going to accept the request, and neither he's going to acknowledge him as a second successor. So, do you think the Rajput will feel happy about it? Definitely, they'll be annoyed with this behavior of.
Ma'am, they will also protest.
Yeah, they'll also protect. True. Okay, so the Rajputs thus began the Rajput struggle against the Mughals till Aurangzeb's successor recognized Ajit Singh as the ruler of Marwar. So definitely they started struggling, they started revolting, agitating against him until the Aurangzeb recognized Ajit Singh as the ruler of Marwar. Okay, now very good. Next, Rana Raj Singh of Mewar. Okay, so that was Marwar. Okay, now this is Mewar. Do not confuse yourself. Rana Raj Singh of Mewar, who was angered by Aurangzeb's anti-Rajput behavior, supported the cause of Ajit Singh. So definitely, it is said, na, dushman ka dushman dost hota hai, right? So
Yes,
who is
ma'am.
the enemy over here? Enemy of
Ma'am,
Ajit Singh was Aurangzeb. So definitely when
Aurangzeb.
Mewar, ruler, that is Raja Rana Singh, when he saw that, Ari, this is how Aurangzeb is behaving with Ajit Singh. So he supported Ajit Singh, right? So they came together to fight against Aurangzeb. Okay, on one hand, Ajit Singh, he supported Ajit Singh. On the other hand, let's see what happens. So the combined forces of the Rajputs, that is the Mewar and the Marwar, met the Mughals. Please underline this. Rajputs of Mewar and Marwar met the Mughals under the leadership of Prince Akbar. Underline till Prince Akbar. Okay, the rebellious son of Aurangzeb. Okay, so Aurangzeb's son was also very rebellious. Okay, now see, it was not just the Rajput, it was also the some Mughal rulers also who felt that Aurangzeb was very wrong on this particular part, right? He forcibly took over the Rajput state where just seeing the opportunity. Now they all joined together against, and they stood against whom? Aurangzeb. The dispute with the Rajputs continued. Underline this. The dispute with the Rajputs continued, and Aurangzeb gained no ground over this fight. So definitely, if you all are united, you stand. If you are divided, you fall. Now, if you'll see, all Rajputs got united against one particular power, that was Aurangzeb. So it was but obvious that Aurangzeb would have to give up, right? Now let's see. Because of this, what happened was, what was the impact of this? Aurangzeb lost his friendship with the Rajputs. Underline this. He lost his friendship with the Rajputs. He also suffered financial losses and the losses of the military prestige. Okay, but obvious, the Rajputs will not support such a ruler, isn't it? They lost his support, they lost his friendship. He also suffered financial losses, and he's also suffered military losses of the military prestige. Now, would you think if an emperor of any empire, if he's suffering so many losses, don't you think it is going to have an effect on the entire Mughal empire?
yes, ma'am, the economy could collapse.
Yes, the foundation of the Mughal. So this particular failure of Aurangzeb had affected the Mughal empire. It resulted in weakening of the Mughal empire. Please underline this, resulting in the weakening of the Mughal empire. So Thus, the Rajput policy of Aurangzeb failed, and its failure contributed to the failure of the. Don't underline this. This is not important. Okay. So its failure contributed to the failure of the Aurangzeb. And what was the failure of Aurangzeb? This was important. That the foundation of the Mughal Empire started weakening. Right? Clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear?
Yes.
Have you all
ma'am.
understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear? Everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Chalo then. Let's do the next. Let's study about the next enemy. That's the third enemy. That's the Marathas. Now, we saw that there were three enemies. One was Sikhs, the other one was Rajputs, and the third one was Marathas. Now, among all these three enemies, Marathas gave a very tough time to Aurangzeb. Okay, they gave a very tough time, challenge, to Aurangzeb, until Aurangzeb was under. I'll just give you the, unveil the suspense that Aurangzeb landed in house arrest, and it also resulted in the weakening of the Mughal Empire. How and who was the leader who supported, who stood for the Marathas and gave a tough time to Aurangzeb? It was none other than Shivaji. Okay, now let's see what happens in the Marathas. Okay, a formidable force that engaged Aurangzeb's attention and efforts was the Marathas in the Deccan region. While no Mughal emperor had, underline this, no, don't underline that. Underline this. While no Mughal emperor had ventured into this territory, Aurangzeb's ambitious zeal urged him to move to the south, leaving a gaping hole in the center. Yeah, underline from there. No Mughal emperor till gaping hole in the center. Now see, Aurangzeb was ambitious, as we all know. He wanted to expand his territory, although his territory was, expanded all throughout India, right? Still, he wanted to make sure that his territory is expanded. And therefore, what did he do? He ventured, started approaching towards the Deccan and the southern region of India. Now, because of his ambitious nature and his, zeal to extend his territory, what happened? He focused towards the southern part of India, and because of that there was a gaping hole in the center, right, where he was actually he was supposed to be there. Definitely one person cannot pay equal concentration to two different regions at the same time, right? So if you're concentrating on one particular region, definitely there will be gap holes on the other region. So similarly happened over here. Now, this is very important. The Marathas led by Shivaji proved to be a military threat to Aurangzeb. And how this happened, we will see in the chapter proceeding further. Clear? Clear till here, everyone, children?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we will see how Shivaji fought with Aurangzeb and how he gave a tough time, okay, to them. Clear? So, next. Now let's see, before seeing the fight or the agitation between Aurangzeb and Shivaji, we will first know a little bit of Shivaji, okay, about his background, from which background he came, how was his early life, and how he became so ambitious, from where did he get that power to give so much of tough time to Aurangzeb. Okay, we will study in detail, in short, about Shivaji. All right, so the Marathas were the local rulers of the Deccan region. Why Shivaji contributed? Because definitely Aurangzeb had focused on Deccan region, and in Deccan region it was the Marathas, okay, who were the local rulers over there, and Shivaji belonged to the Marathas. Fine. So let's know a little bit of information about Shivaji before we study about how Aurangzeb and Shivaji agitated against each other. Shivaji was born in Pune to Shahaji Bhosle and Jijabai. Please underline, this is important. Now, father of Shivaji was
Shahaji Bhosle.
Shahaji Bhosle. Mother of Shivaji?
Jijabai.
Jijabai.
Okay. Now, Shivaji's father, he was an officer in the court of Sultan at Bijapur. Okay, so what happened, according to the Jagirdari system, Shahaji had to go to Bangalore, and over there he was given the responsibility of managing the Jagirs at Bangalore, but there was no one over here in Pune. So what did Shahaji do? He entrusted, okay, his son, okay, all the Jagirs which were there in Pune, so that Shivaji could take care of the Jagirs which are there in Pune, along with his mother Jijabai. Clear? Clear, everyone?
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay. So the
Ma'am,
Jagirdari system, according to
ma'am,
the
what is actually Jagir,
Shivaji
ma'am?
got a large Jagir near Bangalore, and he entrusted the Pune Jagir to his son Shivaji along with Jijabai. Okay, that is his mother. So it was from the initial years itself, Shivaji took over of the Jagirs of Pune region. You know, we have studied about the Jagirdari systems in the previous chapter. What is Jagirdar? What are Jagirs, and who is the Jagirdar? Can anybody tell me? No one?
Ma'am, small
Jagirdar.
provinces.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, small provinces.
Yes, small provinces which were called as Jagirs, and the person who would take care of the Jagir, the responsible for each Jagirs were called as Jagirdars. Yes. So early days, early on, Shivaji began to gather a band of his friends and followers using guerrilla warfare tactics. They began to capture hill forts in a bid to establish Swaraj. Please underline, he used guerrilla warfare tactics so that he could establish Swaraj. So this was the aim of Shivaji. Okay, he from the early days itself. Now, what are guerrilla warfare tactics? We'll understand that. Just click on that, please. So guerrilla warfare tactics, it is a form of irregular warfare in which a small group of armed civilians, okay, use what military tactics, including what ambushes, stoppage, raids, petty warfare, hit and run tactics, and mobility to fight a larger military force. So they use small tactics so that they could gain the mobility to fight with a large military force. Okay, so these were different tactics they used while having in guerrilla warfare. Clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Joshua. Next, now, what was his aim? What was the aim of Shivaji for using all these guerrilla warfare
To
tactics?
establish Swaraj.
To establish Swaraj. Okay, using this guerrilla warfare tactics, what he wanted to capture? What he wanted to capture?
The hill forts.
The hill
The
fort.
hill forts. Very good, Shlok. The hill forts. Okay. So now we all know what does Swaraj mean. Swaraj means independence. Okay, sovereignty. Now these forts fell under the control of Adil Shah. Capturing the forts were the first step to asserting independence, since it meant controlling. No, don't underline that, please. Don't underline that. Wait, I'll tell you. Capturing forts were the first step to asserting independence, since it meant controlling over the surrounding areas as well. Therefore, it seemed quite fit. Give me a second. I'll just put on the charger. Okay. Yeah, underline this, that capturing the forts was the first step for getting independence. Why? Because if he captures the fort, automatically he would get control over the surrounding areas, till surrounding areas as well. Okay. Now, therefore, it seemed quite fit for Shivaji to capture the forts within his own Jagir, which were not under his control. He captured, this is important, he captured the forts of Torana, Kondana, Purandar, laying the foundations of Swaraj in the Marwal region. Okay, so these were the forts which were captured by Shivaji. Okay, this is how he began the journey, or he had his goal of achieving Swaraj, and for that he began his journey by capturing the forts. Now, this region was hilly and not easily accessible. Using these disadvantages to his benefits, he employed the locals and peasants and created a feeling of trust and affection. His enemies were the local Sardars, who had to be coaxed into understanding the idea of Swaraj. So basically, these forts were in the hilly areas, all right, and this was a disadvantage for him, right? But he made sure that he developed a good relation with the peasants and with the local people who were living in those areas, by gaining their trust and by giving an affection, and he could easily capture these forts. Fine. So this was a brief, introduction about Shivaji, about his early childhood days and how he was actively involved with his goal of achieving Swaraj right from his early days. You can underline this. Using these disadvantages, the region was hilly and not easily accessible. Underline this. And underline this. His enemies were the local Sardars who had to be coaxed into the understanding idea of Swaraj. Okay. Now we will begin our journey of seeing how Shivaji and Afzal Khan, basically, Aurangzeb indirectly, how they fought with each other, and how Shivaji made sure that Aurangzeb had to surrender. And let's see who wins this battle among both these rulers. On one hand, we had Shivaji, on the other hand, we had Aurangzeb. Okay, we will see that in the next class because it's already almost time up. I'll stop here for today. I just wanted to confirm, everybody, have you all understood till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Clear?
ma'am. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Your yes, ma'am was not convincing.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I have a doubt.